Hello students, let's solve some more examples on continuity. Example is find alpha and beta if the function fx is continuous in -2 to 2 where f of x is equal to x plus alpha if -2 less than x less than 0. It is 2x plus 1 if 0 less equal x less than 1, and it is beta minus x if 1 less equal x less than 2. So what is given? It is given that function fx is continuous in this interval -2 to 2, and this -2 to 2 is splitted in this part, means in this part the value of function f of x is as shown, means in -2 to 0 value of function is x plus alpha, in 0 to 1 it is 2x plus 1, in 1 to 2 it is beta minus x. We have to find out alpha and beta. Now it is given that function fx is continuous in this interval, so definitely it will be continuous at each and every point of this interval. So that function will be continuous at point 0, also at point 1. So we will solve. Given that fx is continuous in interval -2 to 2, therefore fx is continuous at point 0 and at point 1. Now it is continuous at point 0, therefore we can write limit of f of x as x tends to 0 minus is same as limit of f of x as x tends to 0 plus. Function is continuous at 0, therefore left hand limit is equal to right hand limit is equal to f of 0. So this implies limit of fx as x tends to 0 minus, as x tends to 0 minus. So what is the function at 0 minus? 0 minus means this part, x tends to 0 from left hand side, x less than 0 means this equation, so value of function is x plus alpha. So x plus alpha is equal to limit x tends to 0 plus, x tends to 0 from right hand side means x is greater than 0, so value of function is 2x plus 1 is equal to f of 0. 0 less equal x, so value of function will be 2x plus 1. Okay, so here we are taking x is equal to 0, so this value will be 1. Okay, so what this implies after applying limit, as x tends to 0 it is alpha is equal to x tends to 0 it is 1, which is equal to 1. So value of alpha is 1. Okay, next to find value of beta. Again what is given? From this we get that function fx is continuous at point 1. So next we will write and what limit of fx as x tends to 1 minus is equal to limit of fx as x tends to 1 plus is equal to f of 1. This implies limit x tends to 1 minus. This is 1, x tends to 1 from left hand side means x is less than 1. Where is that? This is x less than 1. So value of function is 2x plus 1 is equal to limit x tends to 1 plus, x tends to 1 from right hand side means 1 is less than x. So value of function is beta minus x, and f of 1 x less equal 1, value of function is beta minus x. If x is equal to 1 it will be beta minus 1. So what this implies after applying limit as x tends to 1, it will be 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3 is equal to beta minus 1 is equal to beta minus 1. So from this what we get? We get beta is equal to 4. Okay, so here we get value of alpha and beta. Next example. Examine the continuity of f defined on R where f of x is equal to 1 if x is rational, and it is minus 1 if x is irrational. Okay, we have to check whether this function is continuous on R or not. What is given function? Function, its value is 1 if x is rational, it is minus 1 if x is irrational. Means what is given? This is real line. Okay, function is defined on R, its domain is R. If suppose it is 0, it is 1, minus 1. Now as we know that real line is a union of rational and irrational numbers. There are infinite rational and irrational numbers on this real line. Okay, if the number is real, then its image is 1. Okay, and if it is irrational number, then its image will be minus 1. Okay, so the function means the graph will be like, so if rational then 1, irrational minus 1, rational, irrational, rational, irrational, like this. Here also if number is rational, its image here, irrational, image here, rational, irrational, like this. Okay, so this is given function. We have to check whether function is continuous or not. So let us consider, let us take a number c on R. Let us take any number c on R and assume that c is a rational number. Okay, in case 1, in solution case 1, if c belongs to R, is a rational number. Suppose it is a rational number, therefore what will be f of c? For rational number, f of x is 1, so c is rational, so f of c will be 1. Okay, now by the plotting of graph you can see that function must be discontinuous. Okay, so we have to show that, we prove that f is not continuous at point C. We have to show it is not continuous at C. But on the contrary, assume that f is continuous at C. Let us assume f is continuous at C. Therefore, for epsilon is equal to 1/2. Let us take a fixed epsilon. We need to take epsilon positive. Let us take epsilon is equal to 1/2. As function f is continuous at C, therefore for epsilon greater than 0, there exists delta greater than 0, such that if mod of x minus c less than delta, then mod of fx minus f of c less than epsilon. Epsilon we have taken it 1/2. That is, we can write it as what? C minus delta less than x less than c plus delta. Then what is f of c? Value of f of c is 1. Then mod of f of x minus 1 less than 1/2. Okay. Now this x is present in between these two numbers, c minus delta and c plus delta, and we have taken. Now again by density theorem. What is density theorem? Between any two real numbers there is a rational number. Also between any two real numbers there is irrational number. Okay. Now these two numbers are real number. So by density theorem there exists definitely at least one irrational number in between these two numbers. So we will write here, but by density theorem there is an irrational number t, there is an irrational number t such that t is present between this c minus delta less than t less than c plus delta. Okay, t is present in between these two numbers, then what happen? If this condition, now if x is present in between these two numbers, then this condition is happen. Therefore, if t present in between these two numbers, then what will happen? And remember that if number is rational, then fx is 1. If number is irrational, fx is minus 1. Okay. Now here, if t is between c minus delta to c plus delta, then using this condition, what happen? Then mod of f of x, here what will be? Here is not x, now here is t. So mod of f of t minus 1, this condition less than 1 half. This implies, what is f of t? Now t is irrational, so f of t will be minus 1. So mod of minus 1 less than 1 half. This implies mod of minus 2. Mod of minus 2 is 2 less than 1 half. But is it true? 2 less than 1 half? It is wrong. So what? We get contradiction. Contradiction to what? We have assumed that function is continuous at point C. C was our rational. We have assumed it is continuous at C. Then we get this contradiction. Means our assumption is wrong. So here we will write which is wrong. Therefore, our assumption which is wrong, that is, we get contradiction. Therefore, our assumption that fx is continuous at C is wrong. Okay, means what? F is discontinuous, therefore f is discontinuous at, what was our C? Our C was irrational number, therefore f is discontinuous at rational number C. But what was C? We have chosen this rational number arbitrarily, therefore this result will be true for all rational numbers. So since C was chosen arbitrarily, fx is discontinuous at all rational, at every rational number. Okay, this is the first case when we assume that our C is rational. So in a similar manner, we can prove that if C is irrational, then also function is discontinuous at that irrational number. That is case 2. We can write it, if C belongs to R, is an irrational number, then with similar arguments as in case 1, we can prove that f is discontinuous at every irrational number. Okay, now function f is discontinuous at rational, also discontinuous at irrational, therefore we can write, therefore f is discontinuous everywhere in R. Okay, now let us solve another example. Show that the function f of x is equal to mod x is continuous at every point C belongs to R. We have to show this function is continuous at every point. Okay, so by graph you can check that how is the graph of f of x is equal to mod x. This is a graph of f of x is equal to mod x. You can see it is continuous graph. There is no break. But now let us prove it theoretically using definitions. Now there are three cases. Either this x is greater than 0, less than 0 or equal to 0. Now if x is greater than 0, then what happen? Then by definition mod x will be x. F of x is equal to mod x, that will be x. Therefore for c greater than 0, what happen? Limit of f of x as x tends to c is equal to limit of x as x tends to c. Its value is c, and c is same as mod of c, that is f of c, because c is greater than 0. Okay, what we get? Limit f x as x tends to c is equal to f of c. Therefore function is continuous at positive c. Okay, therefore f is continuous at every c greater than 0. Second case, if x less than 0, then what will be f of x? Then f of x, that is mod x, that will be minus x by definition. Therefore for c less than 0, what happen? Limit of fx as x tends to c is equal to limit of, what is f of x here? Limit of minus x as x tends to c is equal to minus c. And what is minus c? By this definition of function, again here c is less than 0. Okay, so definitely minus c is same as mod of c, that is equal to f of c. Means we what here? Limit fx as x tends to c is equal to f of c. Okay, that is definition of continuity of function at point c. Therefore here also we can write, therefore f is continuous at every c less than 0. If c is greater than 0, f is continuous. If c less than 0, f is continuous at every c. Now third case, if c is equal to 0, then what happen? So third case, case 3. If c is equal to 0, then limit of fx as x tends to 0 plus is equal to, what will be? Limit x tends to 0 plus of mod x is equal to limit of x as x tends to 0 plus, which is equal to 0, and limit of fx as x tends to 0 minus is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus, our f of x is mod x. So mod x is as x tends to 0 minus, means what? X is at the left hand side, x is negative, it means x is negative. And what is modulus of negative number? That is minus x. So limit x tends to 0 minus minus x, after applying limit it is also 0. Okay, and what is f of 0? F of 0 will be mod 0, that is 0. Therefore what we get? Therefore limit of fx as x tends to 0 minus is same as limit of fx as x tends to 0 plus is equal to f of 0. Therefore f is continuous at x is equal to 0. Therefore from case 1, 2 and 3 we can say that f is continuous at every point of c. So from cases 1, 2 and 3, what? F of x is continuous at every point c belongs to R. Okay, next example, let m greater than 0 and let f is a function from R to R satisfy the condition mod of f of x minus f of y is less equal capital M into mod of x minus y for all xy belongs to R. What is given? M is positive real number, f is a function from R to R satisfying this condition. Mod fx minus fy is always less equal M into mod x minus y for all xy belongs to R. Question is, show that f is continuous at every point C belongs to R. We have to show f is continuous at every point C belongs to R. So let us choose an arbitrarily C. Let us choose a single point C belongs to R. Let C belongs to R. We have to prove f is continuous at C. So to prove f is continuous at C, what we need to show? We shall prove that given any epsilon greater than 0, there exists delta greater than 0, such that if mod of x minus c less than delta, then mod of fx minus f of c less than epsilon. Okay, we need to show this. Now suppose epsilon greater than 0 is given, because in this condition for any given epsilon greater than 0, so suppose epsilon greater than 0 is given. So what we have? We have this condition. Okay, so we have, let us replace this y, for if this is true for all xy belongs to R. So let us take this y as a fixed c, because c is also real number, so we can take it. So we have mod of fx minus f of c less equal m mod of x minus c. Now we have to show, what we need to show? Mod of fx minus f of c less than epsilon. We have to show this, means we have to show this part is less than epsilon. Now this part is less than epsilon. When it happen? When this complete part, when this is less than epsilon. Okay, so we can write, so that mod of fx minus f of c less than epsilon if this part m into mod of x minus c less than epsilon. That is what? This is means what? That is if mod of x minus c less than epsilon upon m. Let us shift this m here. That is mod of x minus c less than epsilon upon m. Therefore, if we choose delta as epsilon upon m, then what happen? If we take delta as delta is equal to epsilon upon m, then mod of x minus c will be less than delta, and mod of fx minus f of c will be less than epsilon. So therefore, if we choose delta is equal to epsilon upon m, then what happen? Then if mod of x minus c less than delta, what this implies? What? Mod of f of x minus f of c, mod of f of x minus f of c less equal this m into mod of x minus c, and that is mod of x minus c less than delta, so this can be replaced here, that is less than m into delta. And what is delta? We have taken epsilon upon m, that is m into epsilon upon m, mm will get cancelled, which is equal to epsilon. Therefore what we get? Thus if what? Mod of x minus c less than delta, then what we get? Mod of f of x minus f of c less than epsilon. That is what? Definition of continuity. Therefore f is continuous at c. And what is c? We have taken c arbitrarily, therefore this is true for all real numbers. Here c belongs to R was arbitrary point in R. Therefore f is continuous at every point in R. Therefore given function f satisfying the given condition is continuous for every point in R. Now what is that condition? That condition is called as Lipschitz condition. So take it as a note. The condition that f satisfies in above example is called a Lipschitz condition. Okay, that condition is Lipschitz condition. Next example. Suppose that f from R to R, f is a function from R to R, is continuous on R. Suppose that this function f is continuous on R and f of R is equal to 0 for every rational number R. Prove that f of x is equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. So what is given first of all? Function is continuous on R. F of R is 0 for every rational number R. If R is a rational number, so f of R is 0. Function is continuous. We have to show that f of x is 0 for all x belongs to R. Okay? If f of R is 0, if f of rational number is 0 and function is continuous, then f of irrational number is also 0. Means what? F of rational is 0. That is already given. We have to show f of x is 0 for all R. For every real number means rational is given. So what we need to show? That f of irrational number is 0. So suppose that that is not 0. Suppose that f of c is not equal to 0 for some irrational number c. Suppose f of c non-zero for some irrational number c. If we show f of c is 0, then what happen? F of rational is 0, f of irrational number 0 means f of every real number is 0. So suppose it is non-zero. So without loss of generality, assume that as it is non-zero, assume it is greater than 0. So without loss of generality, assume that f of c greater than 0. Now what is given? Given that this function is continuous on R means it is continuous on rational, also continuous on irrational. So since f is continuous at c, so for epsilon is equal to, let us take, we need to take epsilon positive, so let us take it as f of c upon 2. Okay, f of c is greater than 0, so we can take it. So for epsilon is equal to f of c upon 2, there exists delta greater than 0 such that if mod of x minus c less than delta, then mod of f of x minus f of c less than epsilon. What is our epsilon? F of c upon 2. Okay, this condition is satisfied. If and only if this can be written as c minus delta less than x less than c plus delta, then this can be written as what? F of c here, f of c minus f of c by 2, that will be f of c upon 2 less than f of x less than 3 f of c upon 2. Okay. Now again by density theorem. Now by density theorem there exists irrational. Now we have taken here, we have taken c irrational. So let us take by density theorem, these are two any real numbers. So between any two real numbers there is a rational number. Okay, so definitely in between these two numbers there exists a rational number. So by density theorem, there is a rational number R such that r is between these two numbers, such that c minus delta less than r less than c plus delta. What this implies? What this implies? R is between these two numbers. Then let us replace this x by r here. So f of c upon 2 less than f of r less than 3 f of c upon 2, and we know that this f of c upon 2 is epsilon, which is greater than 0. As f of c greater than 0, f of c upon 2 greater than 0. Alright? Okay, f of c greater than 0, so f of c upon 2 greater than 0. Means what we get here? Finally, what this implies? F of r is greater than 0. F of r greater than 0. But what is our r? R is a rational number, and f of r greater than 0. Is it possible? Not possible. Why not? Because it is given that if r is rational number, then f of r is 0. Means we get contradiction here. Therefore, our assumption that f of c not equal 0 for some irrational number c is wrong. Therefore, f of c must be 0. Okay. So here we get, which is contradiction to the fact that f of c is equal to 0. Sorry, what is that? F of r is equal to 0. Therefore, our assumption that f of c is not equal to 0 for some irrational number c is wrong. Therefore, f of c must be 0 for all irrational numbers. And it is always already given that f of rational number is 0. Here we get f of irrational number is 0. Hence, what we get? Hence, f of x is equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. Okay, which we want to prove. So, let's stop here. In next lecture, we will see about discontinuous functions. Thank you.